20 mythical footballers. When you think of a mythical footballer, your mind immediately thinks of players the street won't forget. Think of James Rodriguez in 2014 or Adil Turma at QPR. It could also be the 1986 Maradona or Yannick Bolasie at Crystal Palace. After a lot of research and digging into my years of ball knowledge, I've gathered a list of the best 20 mythical footballers of all time in no particular order. Alright, enough of the yapping. My name is Emmanuel from GCR, and this is a comprehensive list of the greatest mythical footballers of all time. We begin the road with Noodle Hair Ronaldo. Most versions of Cristiano Ronaldo at Real Madrid are out of this world, but the 2016-2017 version with that noodle haircut was absolutely insane. 5 goals against Bayern Munich across 2 legs. Hat-trick against Atlético Madrid in the semis. A brace in the final against Juventus. That man was on a mission with Real Madrid that year. I know Diego Simeone and Manuel Neuer still have nightmares whenever they remember that campaign against Ronaldo. The closest thing to Noodle Hair Ronaldo was the 2008 Ronaldo. 2012 Messi. This 2012 version of Lionel Messi is aesthetically and statistically the greatest footballer in the history of the game, no question. I don't have time to argue with Ronaldo fanboys or delusional people. Like, think about this sorcery. Lionel Messi, while not being a striker, managed to score 91 goals in a year. Let me say that again. 91 goals in a calendar year. For the context, the entire Euro 2012 tournament had 76 goals scored. 2012 Lionel Messi scored more goals than an entire tournament. That's why he is the GOAT. Not even free-scoring Ronaldo had scored this number of goals in a calendar year. You have to go all the way to Gareth Bale to find anybody close to beating this record. Now onto the Wembley Drogba. Didier Drogba is one of the biggest game players of all time with over 10 goals in major finals. And out of 9 times he played at Wembley, he scored 7 times. Drogba's clutch chains basically wheeled Chelsea to their first Champions League trophy by scoring the equalizing goal and winning penalty in the shootout. That's why all the players and defenders of that era still respect Drogba, even though he was not the best when you judge by stats. Now to the Istanbul Dudek. Before Istanbul, Dudek was an average to decent goalkeeper at best, and I wouldn't let anyone tell me otherwise. But after that disastrous first half in Istanbul, Dudek came out of the dressing room and turned into prime Buffon. Once Liverpool completed the comeback, Dudek locked up the post and went Super Saiyan. His career peaked that very moment, that fateful night. He kept Shevchenko out twice, one for point-blank range and once during the penalty shootout to help Liverpool complete the greatest comeback in UCL history. 2014 Manuel Neuer. I will go to my grave arguing that Manuel Neuer deserved the 2014 Ballon d'Or, and you can take that to the bank. I mean, for fuck's sake. This man single-handedly redefined the meaning of sweeper keeper. He was dribbling strikers and coming out all the way into the midfield to play. And all this while pulling out world-class performances for club and country. So yes, 2014 Manuel Neuer is up there with Lev Yashin, Peter Schmeichel, and Gigi Buffon for me. Quick stroll to the 2022 Benzema. Let's be honest here. We all thought the Real Madrid dynasty was over when Cristiano Ronaldo left for Juventus. But no. Here comes role player Benzema to take over the mantle and become the main man. I mean, we knew Benzema was good, but no one expected him to be the driving force for a Real Madrid team. And to cap it all off like a boss, he won the Ballon d'Or after dragging the team to a Champions League victory. Too bad he turned out to be a weirdo after everything. World Cup final Mbappe. I know it's cool to make fun of Mbappe right now, but let's not forget that this man is an absolute beast when he's in form. When Mbappe was just 18, he became the second teenager to score in a World Cup final. But check this out, in the world of Pele, Ronaldo R9, Messi and Maradona, Mbappe is leading in the race as the highest goal scorer in World Cup finals. And he'll be 27 by the next World Cup in the US. That's like 2 or 3 more World Cup tournaments if injuries don't come to play. Mbappe has 2 World Cup finals and has scored a total of 4 goals. 1 goal in 2018 as a teenager and a hat-trick in 2022. That's just absolute insanity. We've got the 2011 Bale. In a young Tottenham squad that had Luka Modric, Gareth Bale was a superstar by a mile. And why do I say that? Well, in the 2011 Champions League game against the reigning champions Inter Milan, Gareth Bale tore Maicon and Zanetti to shreds and scored a hat-trick in a 4-3 loss. Even though he went on to score an insane bicycle kick in the UCL final in Kiev and outpraised Batra for a wonder goal in the Copa del Rey, this 2011 version of Bale is unmatched. The closest version to mythical status was Bale for Wales at the 2016 Euros. Now let me tell you of the pre-injury Van Dijk. Van Dijk is still one of the best defenders in the world right now, but he had to be there during his early stints with Liverpool. That was said, 75 million was too much for a defender coming from Celtic, and boy were they wrong. There was a 50-game stretch where no single attacker in the Prem was able to dribble past Van Dijk. 50 straight games in the Premier League. This man was so good that at some point, Liverpool won all 60 games at Anfield when he played. I know we went through that weird period of defending with his aura and getting cooked week after week, but Van Dijk was a beast before that injury. Chelsea Eden Hazard. Close your eyes and think of Eden Hazard. What do you see? Burgers, injuries, and the Real Madrid bench. But this was not always the case. Prime Eden Hazard at Chelsea was close to MSN levels in terms of sheer skill and dominance. Fans were glued to the TV whenever he got the ball. You can ask Ander Herrera what it was like man-marking Eden Hazard back in the day. It's just unfortunate that his body gave up on him towards the end of his career. Even at that, his biggest mythical moments came during the battle at the bridge when he bagged the wonder goal to hand Leicester City the league. We all love watching Sports Bottle, but I will also love it if you like and subscribe as we bring you more captivating content. Now let's move back to the video. Swansea Michu. Michu was a lanky striker who seemingly came from nowhere and set the Prem on fire during the 2012-2013 season. Nobody expected some skinny, no-name striker from Real Vallecano to do bits in the Prem with Swansea. Not like he was like Peter Crouch or anything. But surprise, surprise, Michu banged in 18 goals in the Premier League that season to become one of the greatest one-season wonders of all time. He was so good he got called up to the Spanish national team. The Spanish national team. For me, this achievement alone makes Michu the ultimate mythical footballer that the streets won't forget. Onto the half-season Papiss Cisse. For like half a season, Papiss Cisse convinced us that he was on the same level as prime Drogba. Okay, I'm adding a bit of sauce to it. But for real, Cisse used to bang in goals left, right and center during that brief stint. His most famous goal was a wonder strike with the outside of his foot against Peter Cech. That was the peak of Cisse. It was only downhill from that moment. But for a short spell, we all marveled at the brilliance of this mythical Senegalese wonder striker. Ronaldinho at the Bernabeu. Ronaldinho absolutely tore Sergio Ramos to shreds during a game at the Bernabeu. He bowled out so much that the entire Santiago Bernabeu stadium gave him a standing ovation. Do you know what it means for Real Madrid fans to applaud a Barcelona player during a game? That would be as shocking as Knicks fans clapping for Larry Bird or Trae Young. In football, this is the greatest sign of respect and universal acknowledgement you can get in your entire career. That's why I still believe Ronaldinho is and will remain the greatest pure footballer in terms of raw skill. Still in Brazilians, we have the MSN Neymar. Some people will hate me for saying this, but MSN Neymar could have won the Ballon d'Or if he wasn't playing for Barcelona. Yes, Messi was phenomenal during that era. What a shocker, I guess. But that version of Neymar was just a different gravy, and we all saw what he was about in that remontada against PSG. Neymar at Barcelona was the closest thing we got to prime Ronaldinho. The highlight reels were crazy. The skill, the goals, oh Dios mío. That move to PSG was a bad idea in hindsight, but it was necessary for Neymar if he wanted to get out of Messi's shadow. Now to the Turma haircut R9. Ronaldo R9 came into the 2002 World Cup with one of the worst haircuts of all time. This dream was terrible worst levels of diabolical. But that dream was engraved in memory because the Ronaldo we saw at the World Cup was a walking piece of modern art. Check this out. No one cares about your hair if you are banging goals like a madman. Ronaldo R9 had the world by the balls, scoring 8 goals in the tournament, including 2 in the final against the unbeatable Oliver Kahn. 3-minute Sadio Mane. Southampton may be crap now, but they used to have decent young players coming through the ranks. During their days as a mid-table team in the Premier League, a young Sadio Mane pulled off a performance of a lifetime. Within 2 minutes and 56 seconds, he managed to score a hat-trick and bury the game on the spot. This record is going to stand for a long time unless someone like Onana has other plans. Without a doubt, this quick-fire hat-trick played a major role in convincing Liverpool to sign Mane. Penalty Martinez. If not for Dibu Martinez, some delusional fans would have continued to call Messi a fraud on the international stage. Hold up before you kill me. There was a time when Argentina used to choke in back-to-back finals, Germany, Chile, and Chile again. It was so bad that Messi had to retire from the national team. But thanks to the butterfly effect of Neil Magpie, injured Bernard Leno, Dibu Martinez became Argentina's #1 and pulled off clutch performances in penalty shootouts to bail out Messi and co. He saved Messi's skin against Colombia, then the Netherlands, and then France. If football matches were just penalty shootouts, Emilio Martinez would be greater than Lev Yashin. Juventus Pogba. Pogba at Juventus was a different beast. He had the goals, the dance moves, the flashy hairstyles. He was the face of the new generation techie footballers. At that point, we all thought Pogba was going to be the next in line for the Ballon d'Or. Well, to be fair, he was close a few times, and he won the 2018 World Cup with France as a leader. Things may have gone horribly wrong at Manchester United with Mourinho and Ole, but Juventus Pogba was absolutely generational. Suarez versus Norwich. Luis Suarez is just a menace on the pitch. He bites, he scores, he throws. But one thing Suarez hates more than black people and Ghanaians is Norwich City. This man turns into prime Maradona whenever he sees the yellow and green kit. During his time with Liverpool, Luis Suarez scored 12 goals in 6 Premier League games against Norwich City. That's 2 goals per game guaranteed. And it's not just that Suarez scored against them. He always managed to pull off the most unconventional finishes and toyed with Norwich City defenders. That man absolutely owned them. Now to the 9-minute Lewangoalski. Let's face it, you really have to do something out of this world to leave Pep Guardiola speechless. Lewandowski shot that bald fraud during a Bundesliga match against Wolfsburg. Coming off the bench, Lewandowski took out 9 minutes of his time to show the world a masterclass in finishing against a helpless Diego Balagoglio. If you're being honest, that Wolfsburg defense was questionable, but Lewandowski was on a mission. Left foot, right foot, header, take a pick. Lewandowski was on fire that night. It's a shame that this guy was robbed of his rightful Ballon d'Or twice. That's it on this one. Which mythical footballer do you think I missed? Let me know in the comments. My name is Emmanuel from GCR, and thanks for watching.